Can you get good on day one of your copywriting journey with ChatGPT? Probably not. But can I get ChatGPT to get you way ahead of any other YouTube video with like top 10 tips or anything else about copy and strategy and marketing? You bet. I spent the last 3.5 years honing my skills with copywriting, marketing, persuasion, and now that AI is around, we can really speed up the learning process. It kind of helps to know where you want to go and then reverse engineer it. So in today's video, I want to help you with 3 core things. The first one is understanding persuasion principles and conversion principles. So this is how you turn clicks into customers. Second thing is to reinforce what you learned by getting ChatGPT to give you exercise. That way I can actually teach you to fish rather than just give you a fish. The third thing is that I want to show you can use ChatGPT to get you to think like a marketer. So that way, maybe if a test doesn't work, you know what to do to bump up response. So that way, you're not stressing about like launches not working. You've got a backup plan. Look, I'm not here to promise you're gonna be great on day one, but you follow this exercise every single day, you won't recognize your progress after 2 weeks. And this process is pretty cool because what I'm gonna show you is not just ChatGPT giving you tips. Half of it is actually implementation and analyzing, because I remember when I first wanted to get good at writing copy, it was getting good emails, handwriting them out. Then I would literally get the piece of paper, I would underline different parts. I think like, oh, they're using like urgency here, or like they're talking about social proof here. And I would literally number throughout the entire email or sales page what was going on top of doing the handwriting to really sink into my head. And this was a really long process and it took me a while to figure things out. I did, however, have the luxury of time because it was COVID, everything was weird, I was just trapped inside. But you know, as of recording this, it's September 2023. Things are moving very, very rapidly. Maybe you don't want to spend that time. If there was any way you could speed things up with AI, this is what I'm going to show you how you're going to do the process I followed with ChatGPT. The reason why half the process is understanding skills is because the more and more AI gets intertwined with marketing, you've got to be able to spot what's good and what's crap. Like, sure, at one point it's going to get so good we won't even need to, but really, like, you need to know what's so good that you can just be like, that's terrible, I'm not testing that. So I'm going to basically show you the science of understanding what drives the click. And to do that, first off, we need to understand the principles of persuasion and conversion. So let's ask ChatGPT with this really simple prompt. The cool part is that you can just get ChatGPT to then give you the next 15 persuasion conversion principles, which gave you a total of 30. You could probably go more, but these 30, I think you're going to be really good to go. So this next part would normally take me a few hours to do, and that's deconstructing copy that's already converted. So what I've gone and done is popped my sales page into ChatGPT, and I use this prompt to ask it, hey, can you deconstruct this and pick out all the different persuasion principles that you mentioned above? And what it's going to do is going to show you line by line from that sales page what is going on in the copy, right? And you don't have to use my thing, you could use anything you want. You could go to ClickBank, find the top converting offer on dog training courses and pop the copy into there and ask it to analyze it. And if you're like really green to marketing and persuasion copy, like you're gonna see first time, like, oh, okay, it's breaking down why they're using this in the headline or why they're using this in the bullets. Then the cool part is that once you understand this, then you can just go and do it yourself, right? This is the exercise you might want to go do. Go and do this by yourself. Like, find the high converting piece of copy. The best place to do this is on ClickBank. You go to Gravity, top thing on Gravity, it means it's selling the most every single day. And you're like, find something you're interested in, because then, it doesn't really feel like a burden to do this. Then just go straight from the headline. Like, what are they doing in the headline? What are they doing in the bullets? What are they doing in the transition from, like problem to agitation? All those things. Do it yourself now that you've seen ChatGPT do it for you. I know this isn't really super sexy, but I kid you not, like, I would focus on this every single day for the first 6 months of me learning copywriting. And the first 6 months, I absolutely sucked. And I had a coach to help me out. And the amount of times he would tell me, like, don't do this, stop doing this again and again and again. But I got a lot better much quicker. My first 6-figure launch for a client was in the first 6 months. And most people, spend years learning copy, going to books or like going to seminars or anything like that. But the fastest way I found is to like look at what everyone else is doing that's already working well and just understanding the psychology and how everything flows from top to the bottom. But did you notice that little part of the story where I mentioned my coach would stop telling me to do this and do this instead? Well, he would probably tell me to do that maybe 8 or 9 or 10 times. I'm sometimes a bit of a slow learner. But here's the thing, right? I would learn this persuasion technique or some copy skill, and I would overuse the shit out of it. I would do it so much to the point it was redundant, it would lose effectiveness. And this is really common when you learn something new and exciting. You're like, oh, This is how it works. And you just go again and again. That's not how it works though. So to make you aware of this habit, this bad habit that I fell into, is to get ChatGPT to write this prompt. And it's basically gonna get ChatGPT to rewrite the sales letter, and it's gonna do it in an overused way of the techniques that are currently present. And sometimes I've had to fiddle with the prompt because it just went too overboard, but if you can just get it to subtly overdo things too much, then you'll quickly see like, oh, okay, this is how I shouldn't be doing it the next time I wanna write copy myself, or get good at writing copy, or just recognizing these bad habits that maybe AI does in the future, you can quickly spot it. This little last hack is how to get you to think like a marketer. And how to think like a marketer is super important, because let's just say you got a launch, go pre-launch, and open rates are suck. You open the cart and then no one's buying. And you got money on the line, you got bills to pay. Right now in the state that AI is in, do you really want to go with the testing suggestions that it's given it? Or do you want to feel confident knowing I've got a good plan B? Well, this is where this next part's gonna help you out. Above all, like my first tip is to go out there, find what's working. If you see an ad again and again in your feed, go and study and analyze that. That's free data. But if you have to use ChatGPT to figure this out quickly, here's what I would do. You can see with this prompt here that I've done, it's gonna give me lots of different testing suggestions. You can go ahead and smartly, it's giving you the best one to start with first, which is testing the headline. And you can ask ChatGPT, can you give me different testing suggestions for the headline? But you're gonna see that it's giving you lots of different things, but it's only giving me about 2 or 3 potential things to actually go, not necessarily go copy and paste, but go and make even better. Like personally, I really like the testimonial headlines that ChatGPT has recommended, and I really hate the problem solution headlines it's giving me here as well. By going back to step 2 and actually learning and studying what actually works, you're gonna see that this is what goes back to my copy mentor said, like, you can't polish a turd, right? You have to find what's good and then polish that. To think like a marketer, you want to try and expand upon how a marketer would think. So to think like a marketer, why don't we type in how a really good marketer would think? So I asked it, how would Gary Halbert find different testing suggestions that leverage urgency? And it gave me a really good list here, especially around storytelling and things like that. If you can pull out other big old school marketers that have got lots of data before 2021, which is what ChatGPT has data up until, so you've got people like Dan Kennedy, Jay Abraham, John Carlton, these are good names to replace. Like, how would person X, like how would Dan Kennedy implement social proof in a unique and different way than his competitors? Then from here, you're gonna see different ideas, and hopefully it's gonna get you to think more laterally and how to think like a marketer. This is all just the beginning of understanding all the principles of persuasion and conversion, just the very beginning. You really need a system to attract, nurture, and ascend clients from, just putting the hand up to like, I really wanna work with you. And the best way to do that is with an email list. And the best way to fix that problem or to address this is check out this video over here where I explain A to Z how to build and monetize a list from scratch.